Okay, how do I say this?
All right, so we really struggled with how do we organize this and how do the two lanes play out between action and think tankiness. Kind of what we ended up with after lots of thoughts about trying to figure out 4 steps ahead, we kind of said, okay, let's approach this like a lean startup. Let's have a vision for where we kind of want to end up, even though it's a foggy vision. And let's figure out what the next few steps are, and as we go through them, we'll let the more specific vision emerge. So getting down to the so we are the steering committee is the first thing to say. You're all here right now because I asked for feedback of who's in and who's out, and if you're in, how much are you really in? And you all said, no, really, I'm really in, with lots of time. So we are, I don't know what we call ourselves, we can call it a steering committee for now, but we're the steering committee for now. And we all agreed that this idea of doing a series of design shops on specific focus areas was important. We briefly at the end kind of said, do we need to just focus on one first? And my thought on that was kind of that, well, if we're going to try to not be painted in one bucket, but we're going to say we're broad, and our vision is to focus on this idea of inclusive urbanization as it plays out in multiple areas, then we need to go ahead and paint the picture and sell the vision of a series of design shops. So to get that started, we need somebody to work with the Leadership Lodge to help start to organize those design shops. Who attends and on what topics and in what order. And so we thought, so what's great about all of you is that when you emailed me, you also kind of told me your pet projects or your interest area. Somebody said healthcare, somebody said education, blah, blah, blah. So those people, or a couple of people, can pair up and be the chief instigators for these topical design shops. And as we do that, and as those take shape and actually occur, maybe some subcommittees form out of that. Maybe we capture all the collective knowledge from that and start sharing it in a more broad sense. And in that process, we invite, let's go with healthcare. Let's say we do a design shop on healthcare. We invite people who are healthcare leaders in Nashville to be a part of that, but we also inject others who are not part of that to bring in some fresh thinking and things like that. We kind of, I think we agreed that the term Future Ready Nashville could be what we call our group, but the core vision that we're selling is inclusive urbanization. We don't have to call ourselves the Council on Inclusive Urbanization necessarily. We can call ourselves Future Ready Nashville. And then finally, tell me if I'm missing something here. Nashville Next, its end state for that group is to recommend policy to the council. And the council will adopt that policy. One thing I'm hearing from the chamber, and I don't know what else anybody else is hearing, but the chamber then doesn't necessarily have a plan, or there's no organized body that says, okay, now that the council has adopted this, we're going to make sure and hold the council and other groups accountable to bringing this to life. So we can kind of see ourselves playing that role if there's no other central organization emerging that makes sure that that happens. It's like the next Nashville Next. What, did I miss anything?
I mean, I just wanted to articulate. So this is how we envision moving the needle on this vision of inclusive urbanization by taking those, issues that we've identified as important. Other ones could come in, or we could, ex-nay some of them. But those would then help us articulate those standards of what inclusive urbanization means, and just kind of help move the needle. And it also emulates what we have identified as kind of what differentiates us and what we think is really unique about our experience by that cross-sector collaboration and some of the usual suspects, but people you wouldn't necessarily think to bring to the table, which just further drives home what we're trying to do.